and welcome to our 7 Days Report Show. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsiloyanis. Here, we bring you all the news from around the world through all major media outlets. We bring you all the news that matters most. We delve into real news affecting our society, politics, economy, culture, and education. In a high-stakes diplomatic push, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi held talks on Monday with Rafael Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, just as Tehran prepares for a second round of negotiations with the United States over its contested nuclear program. The meeting, held on the sidelines of broader multilateral discussions, underscored Iran's efforts to address long-standing concerns about its uranium enrichment activities. Araghchi emphasized Tehran's commitment to transparency, stating that Iran remains open to IAEA inspections while insisting on its sovereign right to peaceful nuclear technology under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. Grossi, known for his balanced yet firm approach, reiterated the agency's call for unrestricted access to undeclared sites and full cooperation on safeguards. Iran's nuclear program must align with international norms to build trust, Grossi told reporters after the hour-long huddle. Araghchi, in turn, accused Western powers of politicizing the issue, linking progress to the lifting of U.S. sanctions imposed since the 2018 withdrawal from the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA. The diplomacy extends further. Araghchi announced he would meet Oman's Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi on Tuesday. Oman, a neutral mediator with deep ties to both sides, is hosting the U.S.-Iran indirect talks in Geneva. These negotiations, building on a tentative first round last month, aim to revive stalled JCPOA talks amid escalating regional tensions, including Iran's support for proxies in Yemen and Lebanon. Analysts see glimmers of hope. Oman's role could bridge gaps, but breakthroughs hinge on sanctions relief, said Dina Esfandiary of the International Crisis Group. Yet, with U.S. elections looming and Iran's stockpile of near-weapons-grade uranium growing, skeptics warn of a narrowing window. As clocks tick toward Tuesday's session, the world watches whether diplomacy can avert another nuclear standoff. Recent filings reveal that 6 companies associated with Sarah Ferguson, ex-wife of Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, are dissolving following fresh Jeffrey Epstein document releases that exposed her close ties to the late sex offender. The latest U.S. Department of Justice files, unsealed last month, include emails in which Ferguson called Epstein the brother I have always wished for and congratulated him on a baby boy while seeking financial aid after his 2009 conviction. She reportedly visited him in Miami days after his release from prison, accompanied by her daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, then 20 and 19. Ferguson's rep previously claimed she cut ties upon learning allegations, but documents suggest ongoing contact, including 2011 apologies labeling him a steadfast friend. All 6 firms list Ferguson, 64, as sole director and were filed for removal from the UK's Companies House Register between February 13 and 16. The entities S. Phoenix Events Limited, Fees La Luna, Saloon Limited, Philanthropreneur Limited, and Planet Partners Productions Limited are mostly dormant, established over a decade ago, with minimal activity. They faced dissolution within days absent objections. Her charity, Sarah's Trust, also paused operations recently. The scandal burdens daughters Beatrice and Eugenie, described as broken, ashamed, and shocked by parents' Epstein links, including Andrew's alleged palace dinners with Epstein. Ferguson changed her company name filings from Sarah of York to Sarah Margaret amid scrutiny. No misconduct is implied by Epstein mentions alone. This closure wave underscores Epstein fallout's lasting impact on royal adjacent ventures, with firms showing little commercial footprint.
Trilateral negotiations between Russia, Ukraine, and the US in Geneva concluded on Wednesday without any significant progress toward ending Moscow's war in Ukraine. The talks, which extended late into Tuesday, lasted only 2 hours on the second day, described by Ukrainian officials as difficult. Ukraine's chief negotiator, Rustem Umerov, led the delegation and noted discussions focused on practical issues and the mechanics of potential decisions, without revealing specifics. Russian sources called the sessions very tense, spanning 6 hours in various formats on Tuesday. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff remained cautiously optimistic, stating both sides agreed to inform their leaders and continue working toward a deal under President Trump's leadership. President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed readiness for a fair agreement, but questioned Russia's true intentions. The meetings follow prior sessions in Abu Dhabi and come amid Trump's push for a resolution by June, with Donbas remaining a major sticking point. Core issues included Russian demands for Ukrainian territorial withdrawals and military limitations, which Kyiv views as threats to its sovereignty. Zelensky highlighted U.S. pressure on Ukraine to compromise, while allies like the UK and Germany urged revisions to any peace plan. No immediate ceasefire was announced, and fighting continued, with Russia reporting thwarted Ukrainian drone attacks. Despite no breakthrough, delegates committed to ongoing smaller group work. Umarov thanked U.S. counterparts for constructive engagement. Analysts note these talks mark a rare direct dialogue after nearly 4 years of conflict, but deep divisions persist on security guarantees and territorial integrity. Future rounds may involve higher-level intervention as Trump seeks to halt the violence.
A recent poll shows the far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, leading with 37% support ahead of Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania's state election on the 20th of September 2026. This marks a significant lead over rivals like the SPD at 23% and CDU at 13%, signaling growing discontent in eastern Germany. The Forsa survey, conducted February 9-16 for Ostsee Zeitung, polled 1,003 eligible voters and positioned AfD far ahead in the northeastern state. Die Linke follows at 11%, while FDP and Greens fall below 5%, risking exclusion from the Landtag. AfD's rise reflects trends in recent polls, with figures around 35 to 38% building on its strong eastern base. Despite the lead, mainstream parties refuse coalitions, potentially leading to fragile governments. Chancellor Friedrich Merz called for a cultural shift toward harder work amid economic pressures, indirectly addressing voter shifts fueling AfD's gains. In Berlin, firefighters rushed to the Reichstag early Thursday after a gas detector alarmed at 5:15 a.m., detecting a hazardous substance. Around 80 responders investigated. A possible cause is an overdose of a cleaning agent. The building was temporarily closed with traffic rerouted, but quickly reopened after no major threat was found. This incident underscores ongoing security concerns at Germany's parliament, though no injuries occurred. Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania joins 4 other states voting in 2026, testing national trends. AfD's momentum challenges the political establishment, while the Reichstag event highlights routine yet disruptive operations in the capital. Analysts predict coalition complexities if AfD wins big. Prominent Venezuelan opposition politician Juan Pablo Guanipa announced his release from prison on social media Friday, ending what he described as almost 9 months of unjust imprisonment. The development marks a potential turning point in Venezuela's ongoing political crisis, coming just hours after interim President Delcy Rodriguez signed a controversial amnesty bill. Guanipa, a key figure in the opposition coalition and former governor of Zulia State, posted a video on X, formerly Twitter, from an undisclosed location, expressing gratitude to supporters. Today, after 272 days behind bars for defending democracy, I am free, he wrote. This is a victory for all Venezuelans who refuse to bow to tyranny. His arrest in May 2025 stemmed from charges of inciting violence during anti-government protests, accusations his allies dismissed as politically motivated. The timing aligns closely with Rodriguez's endorsement of the amnesty legislation passed unanimously by the Maduro-controlled National Assembly earlier this week. The bill, touted as a gesture of reconciliation, could free hundreds of political detainees held since the widespread 2024 election unrest. Human rights groups like Photopanel estimate over 1,200 opposition figures remain imprisoned, many without trial. Opposition leaders hailed Guanipa's release as a breakthrough but urged full implementation. This is just the beginning, said Maria Corina Machado, a leading dissident. True amnesty demands the liberation of all innocents and fair elections. Critics, including exiled figures, suspect the move is tactical, aimed at easing U.S. sanctions ahead of international talks. Rodriguez defended the law in a televised address, calling it a step toward national unity. Yet, with hyperinflation ravaging the economy and migration surging, skeptics warn of more repression if protests reignite. Guanipa vowed to resume his fight. The struggle continues until freedom rings for every Venezuelan. His release injects fresh momentum into a battered opposition as the nation watches for further releases. That was the 7 Days Report Show. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsiloyanis. Before signing off, I would like to thank you for listening to our news. Until next time, stay informed and be safe. Goodbye.